Welcome back, my little nightmares, and me, Queen Nightmare, and I am going to I'm going to read the Drarry Fanfiction. I forgot what it was called. Hold on. Right now, I am kind of out of it, per se, because right after I record this and get everything done, I'm just going to be like, now what do I do? Now I don't have anything to look forward to the rest of the day. This is what I look forward to ooh, this looks good. I don't have nothing else to look forward to. Requested to read. This one looks opposites attract. Huh. Oh, this one looks good too. I really need to get off Wattpad. That's what I need to do. Anyways. Okay. Hello Strings did not answer me. If you know who that is, that's who it is. Okay. Ferret. Drarry fan. I just saw 2 fan fictions I just added to my requested. I don't know what part we're at. To be honest, I don't know what part we're at. Hold on. I'm back. Hi. I had to watch my own video. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. But you already knew that I'm an idiot, so. Yay. Okay. Chapter 13. I'm here. I never, this is the song you should listen to when you're thinking about this. I never told you what I do for a living. My Chemical Romance. You know what? My Chemical Romance just gives you the feels all the time, doesn't it? Or is that only me? Draco's POV. Don't go to sleep, said Harry warningly. Please, I can't have you die on me. Please, Draco, don't die on me. I know you hate my ass, but please, no, I never hated you. Please don't die on me. How could I hate Potter? And he called me Draco. Point. Draco. Sure, he has his looks going for him, but his look only enhances what's inside. He's so caring and compassionate. He probably has one of the biggest hearts in Hogwarts, figuratively, not literally. Every time I've laid my head over his heart, I never felt more right. His smile lights up the room. There's so much I could say, but I'm really not feeling that great. Weasley's fingernails dug into my side, which is currently stinging. When he tried to crush my chest, I think he broke or fractured something. Something in my chest hurts, and due to him trying to drown me, my ears are full of water, and my eyesight is blurry. My head is tingling from the extreme heat of the water. My eyes are itchy, too. I let him know I'd live. I squeaked, though it sounded like a terrible sound of pain. And it was. Okay, Draco, I'm not sure of the password for the Slytherin headquarters, so, don't be scared. Harry stroked my fur softly. Harry started hissing. I both loved and hated when he did that. Every time my body went rigid and my fur stood up. On the other note, it was deeply attractive and alluring. I'm not sure how I felt about it. All I know is that I want to hear it more often, if only so I can come to terms with it. Harry shivered slightly. I nuzzled closer to him, both hoping to gain his heat and provide him with some heat of my own. Oh, that's cute. You know what? I actually don't like this. 2 words that I was like, I don't mind this story. Actually, I really do like it. See, those 2 sentences clashed when I was about to say something I didn't want to say. This is a really good story. He stepped in the common room. I could tell because of the blurred shapes. I closed my eyes as it hurt my eyes less this way. Hi there. You look like a nice person. Can you help me find Professor Snape? Harry's voice rose in pitch, showing he was nervous. Maybe. I recognized the voice immediately. She wasn't going to help us. Her name was Amanda Avery. She was the type of person who would date Ron Weasley. If that says anything, it definitely does. Run along, Amanda. The voice belonged to Pansy. I only knew because no other Slytherin had such an annoying voice. Damn it. Isn't she your friend or something, dude? Don't diss Pansy. But then again, if it's the only annoying that you say, if you say it's annoying and then someone else says that it's annoying, you beat them up. You know, you're the only one who can pick on your friend. You know, that type. Okay. What do you want, Potter? Harry's breathing grew really heavy. Snape. Now. Bad things happened. Draco needs help. I'll go get him, said Pansy. She hurried off immediately, her soft steps becoming more and more distant. That, and when she was around, she was never silent. So she's like a Ginny. And which year was she really annoying in? When is she not annoying? No offense to the, what is it? Hinny fans? Is that what it is? It's just, I'm like, they were so awkward. It just didn't seem right to me. Potter, you dreadful creature. What did you do? If you hurt my godson... Actually, I want to say something. Someone just commented on one of my videos and said that Snape is his uncle. Not true. It's his godson, which is way different than uncle. He's not related to the Malfoys in any way except like maybe friends-ish. So that's godson, not uncle, and that they're not cousins. Don't worry about that. That was the story where he was getting an inheritance and that vampire story. Okay, anyways. I'll make sure some of that tonic ends up in the pumpkin cider. What the fuck? Drawled Severus slowly. His voice was emotionless. Draco's hurt. Harry breathing heavily. He tried to kill him. I figured I could trust you. Harry wheezed. Needs help. Do I need to go to Pomfrey or Hagrid? Pomfrey works miracles on humans, and Hagrid is the only sort of veterinarian we have. Pomfrey, now! Severus lost his composure completely. I will be escorting you up. If you thought this was a funny prank, be prepared. By the morning, you'll be on your way home. You'll have to live in the Muggle world, where you belong. Why was Severus treating Harry like that? That's what Draco thought. I'm like, when is he not treating him like that? Except in the potion one not the potion one, but the Snarry story, which I want there to be romance, and there's no romance yet, and it's making me mad. Because I like the story. Harry started running, clutching me tightly to his stomach. I could faintly hear his shoes tapping on the stairs, and Severus hollering that he was getting my parents. There was something about putting an end to Harry's reign and something to put Harry's reign at Hogwarts and other garbled randomness. Potter, what are you doing? Madame Pomfrey was standing at the door at the hospital wing, apparently knowing that we were coming. Harry immediately rushed in, quickly fumbling for his breath. Weasley tried to drown Draco in a sink. Madame Pomfrey sighed. Of course he did. She quickly instructed Harry to place me in the bed, hurrying about to gather some materials. Although, Mr. Potter, all right, Mr. Potter, I'm going to start doing my magic. You may want to stay near him. I'm not sure how he's going to react to this entire process. I could see Harry's blurry outline take a seat next to me. Open your mouth, dear. She has to give you... Oh, he called him dear. Oh, okay. Open your mouth, dear. She has to give you your medicine. Immediately, I followed Harry's order. The potion tasted awful, but at least my body was no longer burning. My body stopped the constant tingling, which made me take a sigh of relief, as well as I could anyways. She muttered a few words I didn't catch, and my vision and hearing were back. "Where's my son?" My mother was erratic, I think it is, but anyways. She stormed through the hospital wing, her heels clicking on the floor. It hurt my ears, mainly due to the fact that I just got my hearing back. My father followed behind her, sneering at Harry. His long blonde hair with the bad hairline. Sorry, I had to add that. I don't know why they did that to Lucius. That is just so rude, the bad hairline and everything. Long blonde hair was rumpled, sounding that he'd just gotten out of bed. He was carrying his ridiculous cane around, looking tired. I think that there better be a good explanation for this. I agree. Severus stepped forward from the shadows, looking unpleased. So, Potter, give us the best story your itty-bitty mind can come up with. I didn't hurt Malfoy, said Harry in a strained voice. So what? Did my son just up and try to kill himself? Narcissa glared angrily at Harry, her eyes holding an enraged look, one that caused Harry to flinch. No, it's not like that. Harry, silence yourself. I'll be taking you in my office to get your side of the story and get the written report. Mad-Eye Moody was standing there, looking unpleased at seeing my family. I see the Ministry missed some Death Eater scum. I think the loony bin is missing a patient, said my father. My mother got closer to him. If it weren't for you, none of this craziness would have been occurring. Look at the madness you've caused. Moody only smiled, putting his hand on Harry's back. I'll keep you updated, if and when I feel like it. They walked out of the room, headed off to Moody's office. I hoped Harry would be okay. With a good luck, they'll choose that Ron deserves the Dementor's kiss. Well, damn, that's like, well, yeah, he deserves that. I was like, wait, that's harsh. But then I just realized that he was trying to kill someone. So, yeah, he deserves it. Or he should, be what happened to Ginny. Hooey. Or to be castrated. Ooh. Damn. Yeah. Either one would work. Harry didn't deserve this. He literally wanted a year in peace, but no, as if having me wasn't enough of heavy weight. He has this stupid tournament. To make it worse, Ron still goes here. Mother picked me up, cuddling me close to her chest. Don't fret, dear. With good luck, we'll have you away from Potter soon. There's a witch in Norway that may hold another solution. I would literally scratch her. Like, if I was Draco, I would scratch her and say, don't touch me. And, like, hiss at her. And then, like, sit back down in the bed. And just lay there and go, just grumble. And if she, like, had a problem with it, then she would have a problem with it. Oh, no. That's his thought. Stop giving me ads. I don't care. Okay, anyways. Let's talk about this. So, they're not listening to his side of the story, so they're assholes. And they don't know who he is, so that's kind of a weird thing to happen. So, breaking down this thing, so Harry Potter tried to save his life. His parents think, Draco's parents is just being a dick, and then, what else is new? Pretty much, and Snape is being a dick. And they think that Potter will be a bad influence. Whatever. Chapter 14. Her name was Rose. Who the fuck cares? I'm sorry. I'm at this point, I get annoyed so easily. Just turn him back into a freaking person. Caraphernalia. Pierce the Veil. Never heard of that band. I should listen to it. Harry's POV. After returning to Moody's office, his potion wore off. It appears that I was going to meet the real him. Oh, joy. Actually, I was stunned, surprised by the man in front of me. He's literally Doctor Who. Just his brown hair was cut short, Doctor Who. Somewhat sloppy, Doctor Who. From him just transforming into his true self. He had wide brown eyes, Doctor Who. I'm sorry. It's David Tennant. He played Doctor Who, and if you don't know what Doctor Who is, I totally recommend it. If you like comedy, aliens like invading our planet, and then a actual time traveling person who is an absolute gold mine of comedy. That's the best I can describe it as. Which matched his oddly dorky grin. He had creamy white skin, which wasn't really that pale. He had nice rosy pink lips. Boy, he was oddly attractive, to be rather truthful. Real name is Barty Crouch Jr. I don't know what the frig that came out. Scottish accent. Did you know that? Oh no. My foot fell asleep. So we're going to stay in this position, which is if you don't know what the position is, it's going to be the paint me like one of your French girls positions, because my foot's asleep, and if I move it, it feels like like there's needles. I moved my whole body. Okay. Real name's Barty Crouch Jr. His voice tingled with a thick Scottish accent. I'm not doing a Scottish accent. His accent was so thick that one could almost taste it. But please don't call me that. I hate that name. Please call me, I don't know. Have any suggestions? Hey, hi, I don't know. I said, my voice dripping with seriousness. I like you, he said, smiling. But really, I do need a good name. I sighed, thinking about the thoroughly. Can I have a scrap of paper? He nodded and biting his lower lip. Sure. He dug through his desk, pulling out a quill, a parchment, and a bottle of ink. Have a way with it if you come up with a better name. Joshua Andrew, David Jacob, Jonathan Drew, Erickson Jacob. I found one I like, he said. I think I'm gonna do David Jonathan. David Jonathan Drew. Rose would like that name. Rose? Oh, don't tell me Rose is the one that's Madame Pomfrey. I think that's who she is. I think Madame Pomfrey is the woman he's in love with. Who's Rose, I think it is. I'm not too sure. David Jonathan Drew. Rose would like that name. Rose? The name slipped out of my mouth before I could stop it. My darling, Rose. He sighed. I loved her so much. It hurts every day. I wasn't supposed to fall in love with a Muggle-born, but I couldn't help it. She was beautiful and merciful, caring, and just plainly perfectly perfect. I courted her, and she said yes. It was going great. I was gone one night, performed a raid with the Dark Lord, and I insisted that Rose stayed home so that our unborn baby wouldn't be harmed. She agreed immediately, not wanting to risk hurting our little unborn bundle of joy. I left and she was curled up in bed reading a book. When I returned home an hour later, she was gone. There was, however, blood all over the bedsheets. There was a note left for me on the nightstand. I read the note immediately, which basically said that Rose had been kidnapped and that our baby was dead. I went to call my friend Jack, who had been our secret keeper. I flowed over to the his place, only to find nothing. There was a note there, too. The note said they'd also kidnapped Jack, and that they threatened to kill all of Rose's family and Jack's family, my family and me. They tortured him terribly, so that he'd tell them where Rose was. He refused, and they gave him the truth serum. They included that in the note. I was going to find them and save them, but it was too late. I went mad and started slaughtering people by the masses. I lost my mind, and the only two people I loved were gone. By time I pulled myself together, Voldemort was dead. What? And I was arrested by the Ministry. Oh, dead isn't broke up his Horcrux thingy. My father My father snuck me out of Azkaban, placing my loving mother in my place instead. She was such a loving woman. I'm not sure why she stayed with my abusive father. What? Okay, this is so much. I think this is different than the movie. I'm so confused sometimes. Anyways, my dad kept me under the imperious curse until I broke free. I found your father, and he told me about this position. In the meantime, I've been trying to await any news of Rose and Jack. Your father has a small team searching, and nothing has been found yet. Nothing of my Rose. He wiped away a tear. I'm sorry, David, I said. I had no other words, but I knew that it felt like I know what it felt to lose a person you loved. I lost everyone and was stuck with no one. At least now I had Hermione, Pansy, and Draco. The darling Ferret provided me with plenty of companionship. David waved his hand dismissively. You, of all people, would understand. Now I must write a report about what happened. I need you to tell me what happened step by step. He had a quill in his hand, parchment lying flat on his desk. Remember, leave nothing out. I love to see the Weasley spawn expelled. Ooh, he knew. Sorry, I'm so hyped the F up. I just, I want to murder whoever. I don't know what it is. Harry's letter that shows Ron is responsible for hurting Draco. Chapter 15. Song. Get busy living or get busy dying. Fall Out Boy. Time. 3 a.m. in the morning. Duh. Occurrence of incident. Roughly 2 a.m. People involved. A Harry James Potter. A Ronald Bilbus Weasley, Draco Lucius Malfoy, a Pansy, and Pansy Parkinson's. Adults involved: Severus, Tobias Snape, Poppy, Elizabeth Pomfrey, Alistair Mad-Eyed Moody, Ghosts, Spiritual Beings, Moaning Myrtle. Written by Alistair Mad-Eyed Moody. Potter claims to have woken up. He would have went back to sleep, but his curtains were pulled wide open. He remembered shutting them, so he woke up, obviously taking his defense against the dark arts teacher's advice seriously. He looked around and noticed that Draco Malfoy is stuck in the body of a ferret that lives with Mr. Potter wasn't present. He looked to the bed across from him, wondering if his bedmate had any advice for him for him on what was going on. Harry was confused for many obvious reasons, one of them being that Ronald Weasley wasn't in his bed. Harry was immediately alarmed by the loss of his best mate. He immediately cast a charm to find a good direction to point him in. Immediately, the spell pointed him out of the common room, fearing something evil or terrible. Potter woke up Neville Longbottom to tell McGonagall if he wasn't back in 15 minutes. Harry followed the spell, which led him to the abandoned bathroom. Moaning Myrtle, the spirit that haunts the girls' bathroom, told Potter that Weasley was trying to torture Malfoy by burning him in the sink and other cruel methods. Potter, terrified that Malfoy could die, that his best mate could be under a curse, immediately ran to stop it. Myrtle vanished into the bathroom stall, apparently no longer desiring a position in the front lines. Potter found Weasley trying to drown Malfoy under the steaming hot water. Upon seeing this, Potter immediately yelled at Weasley to stop. He did. Potter stormed over, grabbed Malfoy, singing so that Malfoy wouldn't fall asleep. Potter then went to the Slytherin common room, which he knew from a prior year. He then found Parkinson, who gladly fetched Snape. Upon consulting with Snape as to where would be the best place to take Malfoy for treatment, it was agreed the best place would be the hospital wing. A few moments after arriving, Potter was pulled aside for this interview. Third person's POV. I hope that makes Ron look guilty. I don't know where that accent came from, said Harry. His face was twisted with anger, which scared David a little bit. His boy was the Dark Lord's son. This boy was the Dark Lord's son, the same Dark Lord that killed the people for fun. However, Harry appeared to be more gentle or more humane. Harry showed emotions and meant them, unlike the Dark Lord. David nodded eagerly. Me too. I hate the Weasley spawn with an utter passion. As for the older children, they're darling angels. True. Well, Fred and George are not angels, to be exact, but best children you could ever ask for. Only the last two were little twits. Personally, I think you and your sisters... What? You and your sisters? He has more than one sister? Since when? What? Luna Lovegood, Neville Longbottom, Dean, Seamus, Cedric Diggory, and the twins are my favorite Hogwarts children. He paused. Actually, I think the only children I don't like are the youngest Weasleys. The other kids are angels. I like you, David. Harry smiled. But are you not fond of Draco? David grinned as sharply that it made it hurt. It had to hurt. When he answered, his voice filled with glee. I don't know, man. I think I like him better as a ferret. He started to laugh, eventually crying because he laughed so hard. He cackled, his cackle sounded like he was a madman from his story earlier. Harry hadn't stopped thinking about poor Rose and Jack. Rose had probably been so confused, just like Malfoy, and had been in the early hours of the morning. But Rose had been kidnapped, which Malfoy could have been if Ron was smarter. As for poor old Jack, he was just trying to chill and be a loyal friend, unlike Peter. Jack was just chilling, and when those jerks chose to go, hey man, I'm gonna kidnap you and your bro's girl, Okay, too bad. Jack was probably a super passive man, knowing the way war worked. As for Rose, she was most likely loving and compassionate. She was probably heavenly gorgeous and unwaveringly intelligent, because those things were evil to the enemy. They chose her to kidnap, to get back at her man too, but it was probably a bit more personal with the light fools. It always was. And Harry hoped that they were both safe now, trying to find David. Recap. Okay. Written the report, told him what happened, was really honest. I think they did. Ah! Such it, woman. That scared me shitless. Okay, so, I don't know what to say anymore. Okay, thank you. Go away now. Okay. Are you still there? Yeah, you are. Cool beach. Thank you. Okay. Chapter 16, Ron Weasley versus Lucius Malfoy. Ooh, we already know who's gonna win. To Be Human, Marina. Ooh, that might be a good song. Is it who I think it is? Marina Diamonds? I think it is. That's what her name is. I love Marina so much. She's awesome. Anyways, the music video is awesome, hence why I picked it. Okay. Harry's POV. Moody, you are expected to report to the hospital wing immediately, said McGonagall. Her voice sounded annoyed. She probably was much like I was currently feeling. David immediately froze, quickly taking a drink from his cup. The transformation began immediately, leaving the scarred face of Alistair Moody staring back at him in a matter of seconds. In a gruff voice, he said, "All right, I'll meet you there." I looked at him, smiling in an impressed manner. "Very nice. Am I expected to come with you, or..." He smiled, cocking his head at me. Of course. It was hard to believe that he'd just been an oddly attractive man, considering that he now looked like the grandfather that was left out in harsh weather conditions. Yikes. McGonagall stood at the hospital wing entrance, her lips pressed into an unimpressive scowl. She gestured to us to pick up our speed. As we were getting ready to walk in, she grasped my shoulder gently. Whenever anything happens, it's always you. Please don't stand nearly the Mrs. or Mr. Weasley. Her Scottish accent sounded, what? Please don't stand near the Mrs. and Mr. Weasley. Okay. Her Scottish accent sounded different from David's. Different regions, perhaps? But it might have been because she sounded exhausted. Molly Weasley was seated near her husband and Ron, glaring silently at Narcissa. Her eyes spoke for her. The frizzy yellow dress she was wearing was something I wouldn't be caught dead wearing. The material looked like flour sack material, though it looked like one stuck it in a bucket full of water, plugged in a charger in the wall, and dropped the other end in the water. Her orange hair was messy from being aroused so suddenly. "Oh, Harry, there you are!" I heard David mutter. "What the bloody hell?" He looked at me and whispered, "You smile brighter than you should." I think he meant because I had to deal with so much incompetent adults and their children. Arthur smiled, though it looked pained. His robes were tattered, and he was clearly embarrassed. A strong sense of déjà vu clouded my mind, but it finished before I could place it. I hated when that happened. His hair was greasy looking because probably because he worked so much. He had to feed his family. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere but here, staring at the floor as if wishing himself to disappear on it. Ron was sitting in his chair, slumped over in a defeated posture. His red hair covered part of his face due to the posture, though I could tell he looked guilty. His baggy blue pajamas hung loosely off of him. I made the mental note to buy him some new ones. I may dislike him, but I was all overly familiar with sleeping in pajamas that were in worse condition than most were used to. What is going to be done with that little weasel? Lucius stood, clutching onto his snake cane. My first thought was, "Pop goes the weasel." I immediately scolded myself, cursing myself out internally. Malfoy clearly wasn't interested in a song about Pop's weasels that pop. Or was he? Heck, I don't know. And honestly, at this point, nothing would surprise me. Snape walks in with a hula skirt and a bra on. What the heck am I watching? All right. Whatever. Who am I to judge? Uncle Vernon does cross-dress in his free time. I don't need to know this, but I hope that's canon. A bit of stretch for him, but but you know what? Whatever. Just don't let the neighbors find out. Millicent Bulstrode is a trans female? Whatever. No one will give her any trouble, considering she'll gladly reconstruct your facial features in a rather unappealing manner. Albus Dumbledore smoked Mary Jane. Oh wait, on second thought, it's actually currently going on. I'm at least 250% considering that his brain cells are dead. Actually, Mary Jane doesn't kill brain cells. It just slowly makes your mind work. But at the same time, you think of other things in your mind. Like, high thoughts. Like, apparently, what was it? There's this joke. No, it was not a joke. It's like, all women are bodybuilders. It's like shower thoughts. It's basically what you think when you're in the shower. For no reason. It also explained why, when he came in, the place smelled like Dudley's room. Ooh, dang. And he ain't Sharon? Dang, that mean. I'm talking about Dudley. Nothing. Dumbledore smiled. Wait, did someone ask him something? Nothing. Dumbledore smiled serenely. The old senile bastard. When did he even come in? You know what? Never mind. I think this was all a mistake. Oh my gosh. I will murder Dumbledore. Hold on. Mommy. I have to tell you something, okay? Okay, picture this. Do you remember when Mad-Eye Moody turned Draco Malfoy into a weasel?
Okay.
Well, in this story, he stayed a weasel for a while, and he has to stay with Malfoy. With Harry. So, Ron gets jealous and tries to murder the weasel, Draco, by literally trying to drown him in steaming water that's boiling.
Oh.
And I'm going to quote you on this. Ready? Dumbledore smiled serenely.
What?
Serenely, whatever. It smiled.
Let me see.
No, the old senile bastard. When did he even come in? You know what? Never mind. I think this is all a mistake. A simple misunderstanding. Harry was the one who caught him doing it. He's the one who reported it, too. And even Ron was like, I'm getting rid of a pest. And I'm like,
Literally.
oh my goodness. And Draco is not the pest, it's Ron, because he has pictures of Harry under his pillow.
Oh.
Yeah. You can take that take that with a grain of salt. I'm gonna kill Dumbledore. You can quote me on that. I had to tell my mom that, and she just thought that was nuts, as you can tell. Okay. He nodded, clearly pleased with himself. I will have Mr. Weasley serve some detentions, and everything will be okay. Lucius walked over to dumb as a door, raising his snake cane in a threatening manner. Excuse me, he puffed his chest out, clearly doing that what Muggle scientists call predators trying to look intimidating to their prey. Narcissa rolled her eyes, petting her son's fur. I'm sure he didn't say Weasley was getting off free. It was clear from her tone that, yes, she knew exactly what dumbass said. However, she was trying to maintain the very thin veil peace in the room. The old coot's eyes twinkled. That's exactly what I said. Ronald is a growing boy, and accidents happen. He stroked his beard clearly. As a matter of fact, it's all Draco's fault, spat Ron, ignoring his mother's look. If he hadn't been acting like a rude prat, he wouldn't be a dirtied arse ferret. David looked at me with wide eyes. He cursed rather vulgarly under his breath, so vulgarly that Petunia would have fainted on sight. Most of it seemed centered around unbelievable school conditions, though there were words about no wonder why all the old Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers left. Of course, there were multiple thoughts about the Weasleys. Okay, just Molly. Apparently, David really hated her with a burning passion. If the range of unique cursing her used about anything to do with it. Say that again, you little twat waffle. I need to use that. You little twat waffle. Twat waffle. I need that, dared Lucius, glaring at Ron. At this, I locked eyes with Draco. A little sweetie looked a bit scared. David began to curse again. It just got real up in here, he whispered it in soft enough only I could hear, though I figured McGonagall could hear as she had an amused smile on her face. I think you heard me the first time. Ron looked at me, looking ashamed. Why do you look at me? I wasn't offending him. From the Malfoys, perhaps maybe Malfoy's wrath. Lucius was over there beating Ron with his snake cane before I could process what I was witnessing. My mouth was hung open, my eyes wide. I can't actually believe witnessing this craziness. This was supposed to be the hospital wing. I shouldn't be surprised. I could I can never be normal. It's not even that. I want to be normal. I just want to see Ron biting Lucius Malfoy. Wait, what? David's eyes were as wide as an alien spaceship. His mouth was hanging open for a moment before he began to curse again. He mentioned something about praying later. Something about praying for his remaining bit of sanity. There was something about the job not paying enough for having to deal with such stupidity. McGonagall seemed stunned in place, a hand over her mouth. With very wide eyes, she took in the scene of Lucius Malfoy and Ron Weasley throwing wild punches. I throw the first punch, taunted Ron, losing his balance when Lucius punched him. Narcissa had went about 10 shades paler, her lips pressed in a thin line. In her arms, she clutched Draco tightly to her. Stop it! Enough! Lucius Malfoy grabbed a hold of Ron's hair, hitting Ron with his snake cane. Ron elbowed Lucius in the stomach, one of Lucius's weak spots. Lucius swung his cane again, successfully hitting Ron again. Ron failed, hitting Lucius's pointed nose. There was a loud snap. Failed. Hitting Lucius' pointed nose, there was a loud snap. So I think Ron broke it. Pomfrey was between them in a matter of seconds, pulling them apart. She growled at the two of them before turning that look at dumb as a door. I love that. Mr. Potter, come get in the bed. I think you may be in shock. Madam Malfoy, give your son to Harry. I can tell from the longing looks that the two exchanged that they'd like to be together. Pomfrey gave me a blanket, and Draco came coming over on the blanket. Draco stood on his feet before maneuvering himself so that he can kiss my nose. I gently pet his fur before he moved down to settle on my neck. He curled up and sleeping on my neck. All adults out. Outside now. Ron too. Pomfrey pointed every adult out. Good night, children or teenagers. I should give you all some good. Okay, so is this like the author's note? Okay, cool authors to check out. Okay, nice me Potter. She writes good Drarry stories. I have an itch in my eye. Girl, you don't know. Ruby wrote an amazing Drarry fanfiction called Potterella. Oh gosh. Hurley to my Joker, an amazing author who writes Drarry, Tamari, and other ships. Juliet's emo phase. She has many amazing Drarry stories with amazing plots. I don't know if anyone else likes the band ships. Peterick, and Kellyick, etc. I bet you never planned on a fight scene between PTA dad Lucius Malfoy and Ron Weasley. I remember that. Juan. I didn't either. Jeez. How old am I now? And that makes my day. Theo's gossip. Heaven's Gate, Fall Out Boy. That's the song you should listen to, I guess. Pansy's POV. A surprise. I know. Author's note. Well, my money's on Potter. That boy's smooth. A girl with dark hair walked by, giggling with her friends. He's honestly amazing. Like, he doesn't do anything overly special. And bam! Turns out he defeated the evil cobra snake made out of macarox. maracas and lemon juice. What? She's really not wrong, unfortunately. Her friend turned to her, her expression shocked. Listen to me, Carmen. I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but the basilisk isn't made out of maracas and lemon juice. Carmen, or Cameron, I don't know which way you want to say it. Carmen sighed, rolling her eyes. Duh, but it's Harry Potter. He probably just defeated a giant serpent made of maracas and lemon juice. Carmen turned to look at her other friend. What do you think, Josephine? If you're asking me because I'm from Mexico, your imaginary monster had maracas, I'm going to slap you. Josephine nodded proudly. I stepped in the dining area, sitting proudly at the Slytherin table. I looked up and locked eyes with Hermione. I won't call her Veronica because she wrote a letter to her dad asking him to allow her to keep the name Hermione. Immediately winking at her. She blushed, though. She mouthed at me, "Have you seen Harry?" I shook my head. Not really. Only once. Very late this morning. Theo sat down at the table, his big head blocking my view of Hermione. Have you guys heard? His dirty blonde hair was parted to the side, his hair neatly combed, his outfit was neatly pressed, with a bit all but a wrinkle present. Blaze, drama queen and diva, Zabini sat next to me. No, but please feel free to inform me immediately. You know I like learning new things. Millicent snorted. He didn't say he learned a bunch of new girls' addresses. Millicent and Blaze had this friendly rivalry, which mainly seemed to be about dating. Most of the jokes were based on Blaze's mother, who changed her sugar daddies once a week. Okay, she killed them after they left all their money to her and replaced them. I forgot how much of percentage I'm at. I'm at 3%. Hold on, don't die on me yet. I walked to a wall. Blaze stuck out his tongue at her. You wish, Millicent. Millicent winked. I'm already seeing a pretty female Blaze. Her hair was pulled back into a rather neat ponytail. She was gradually improving on her hairdos. She was even mastering makeup. Very slowly, but it was definite improvement. Besides, all the girls of Hogwarts didn't have much time for makeup, so it didn't matter much. And of course, I didn't grab it. Ouch, my leg. Okay. Draco, can you... Ouch. Fuck. Theo gasped. Oh, please tell. My news on Potter and Draco can wait a little while. News on Draco and Harry? Hold on. Where's my thing? This is bullshit. Found it. That took a while. Ugh. Okay. Going on. Oh, okay. Blaise nodded, his dark eyes staring at Millicent intently. This is going to be great. I can just tell. Blaise rolled his eyes dramatically. This woman must be beautiful to have attracted your attention. I agree, said Millicent coolly. After all, your mother is very beautiful. Blaise began to choke on the pumpkin juice he was drinking. Is pumpkin juice even any good? Wonder that. His flawless chocolate-colored skin began to fill with a blush so red that he couldn't hide it. His eyes were wider than what could be healthy. Millie! You are an evil genius, said Theo, applauding her. He grinned and looking infinitely happy. Ha, Blaise, how'd you like that? Blaise shook his head, looking rather embarrassed. I hate every single one of you. I made a disgruntled noise. Excuse me. Well, said Millicent, maybe you should ask his mom how she looked. She liked it, Theo. Theo shook his head, frowning. Nah, my mother won't let me near the Zabini Manor. After my father winded up in bed with her, at least not until after the divorce is done and I'm 18. Blaise flinched. I'm still sorry about that. Honestly, I had no idea. Theo nodded. I know, my mother doesn't blame you. Now my mother called your mom some words I'll never forget. The nicest thing she said was the mindless bimbo. That was bad. Blaise nodded. I've heard plenty of worse things. Besides, that's not like they're not true. My mom's not a nice person, nor was she ever a good mother. Millicent nodded sadly. But she is really pretty. Blaise snorted. Never tell her that. She thinks that you're a weirdo for various reasons, and she wouldn't be nice to you. Millicent nodded. I know. Who's ready for the Potter's gossip? Finally. I don't really care about Blaise's mother. Theo looked very excited, his eyes glowing with mischief. His fingers were clasped like he was getting ready to pray, though I knew better than that. Theo was ready to gossip like families did at holiday dinners. Please do tell. I'm dying of curiosity, said Blaine. Please! Oh my gosh, I need to stop watching Glee. I watch different videos of Glee, and that's why I call him Blaine. Blaise! Ugh! Sighing dramatically. I'll have them include that in your will. Millicent nodded, smiling sinisterly at Blaise. Well, before anyone dies, Theo said dramatically, you have to hear about what Ron did. He had tons of photos of Potter under his pillow, at least 100. He leaned across the table. One of them is even rumored to have a photo of Harry in the shower. Dang, said Blaise. Draco would love to know that. Theo smirked. No, that's not all. Ron tried to drown Draco in the sink, and Harry caught him. The Malfoys are here, and boy, are they pissed. I've heard Lucius is getting ready to sue Hogwarts. You left out the best part, said a first year. who was eating a pancake drenched in maple syrup. Oh, I'm getting there. Theo took a deep breath. Lucius and Ron got into a fight. I heard Ron throw a first punch, and Lucius whacked Ron with his cane. No way, said Blaze, before beginning to laugh hysterically. I would pay to watch that. Mood, said Millicent, nodding her head in agreement. I would also pay to beat Ron down, so that there's always that. However, I'd really like to beat down that homophobic, transphobic spitwad that happens to be his sister. I guess it must run in the family and skip a few to be enormous jerkwads. Oh, don't worry about the sister. She's paying for it right now. But that's the problem. You won't know about it. Because the problem is that she's not there anymore. Well, not with us. I don't think so. I can't even believe this. And in a matter of rapidly approaching days, the first task was occurring. Real good. I tell you one. Real good. What? I don't get that. Okay. Chapter 18. Teacher, Friend. The song is Let Love Bleed Red. Sleeping with Sirens. Never heard of that. David's POV. Ooh. I hated being a teacher. Okay, let me restate that. I hated teaching Ron Weasley. Now, I'm sure one would have similar thoughts if they had to live out their lives on terrible wages. I mean, for all the crap I have to deal with, you could think the paycheck could have been a few extra zeros in front of that decimal. But no, of course not. I couldn't even be myself. Instead, I got stuck posing as a loony aura. That was paranoid, and here comes the cherry on the cake, friends with the loony headmaster. Instead of overlarge trench coats, tight-fitting dress pants, a nice dress shirt, and a tie, I got a dirty jacket with clothing that didn't match. Also, the clothing was too tight, apparently great for fighting in. The wardrobe was awful, truly, but I could live with it. As I mentioned, I have to pretend to be best buds with the nutty headmaster. My ears nearly bled when he talked, especially when he praised the man that donated sperm to create me. The worst part about when he praised the sperm donor was that he slammed my mama, for every single thing. I nearly punched him. Whew. Good thing I didn't. And then I had to hear how the angels praised Ron Weasley as if. I had to hear about how he was doing good by trying to murder Malfoy in the sink, that he was being a good role model. I nearly puked. I had to run about how Ron should have beat Lucius. I was starting to wish Ron would have tripped and died. In the same week, I'd then have to hear about how the headmaster wanted to break every bone in Ron's body. In those moments, I wished Ron was a bit better so I wouldn't internally cackle and nearly tell the headmaster that I'd try a few of his ideas. I'd hear about how useless Ron was and how he'd only be useful to someone in bed. Underneath that person, some details were more vivid than I wanted to know. There would be digs about how Ron would only turn out to be a chunky pig that had to sleep with a random person to survive, but how much he ate. With the way dumb as a door talked about how much Ron ate, he was lucky Ron wasn't anorexic. I really did hate Ron, but his fate was twisted. He entrusted it to a man that he trusted, a man that would throw him in Azkaban and give him the Dementor's kiss if the occasion rose. It was sad, pitiful, actually, considering that no one really loved Ron as a son, a brother, a lover, or a best friend. Apparently, the insane headmaster was also noticed that Ron had an overly large crush on Harry. Well, to put it lightly, as a matter of fact, the headmaster was editing his plans to fit the scenario better. There were a few mentions of the illegal love potions and having the two bond. That part was nauseating, and considering that both of them were underage and Harry wasn't attracted to Ron. It was essentially a nice way of describing the physical and intimate part wouldn't be willing. The worst part, I had to pretend to agree to act like I thought it was a genius plan or idea. And sometimes I hated myself for even playing the part, despite the fact that my Lord assigned me to do such. There was also a large amount of Ginny praising. She was praised for breathing, despite the fact that the headmaster hadn't seen her in weeks. No matter what she did, it was perfect. Unlike her brother, who was hated and punished for every little mistake, Ginny was glorified and worshipped. The whole thing nauseated me. I was tempted to leave the Bible on the fool's desk with instructions to praise the Holy Son instead of planning to ruin the billions of people's lives. I then realized that Albus saw himself as a holy figure, so there'd be no use. Maybe I could have smacked him with the Bible, which would have worked. This man needed help. The way he spoke of Harry sent chills down my arm. It was a mix between, let's slaughter Harry very slowly, and he's such a beautiful boy, we should really keep him around. The headmaster was very perverted, especially when it came down to the people that he planned on ruining their lives. There was a few times he hit on me. I pretended to be ill because just like every other time that he acted like an uncultured swine. Jack has hit on me a couple of times previously, most of which stemmed from the fact that he was naturally flirty. Jack never hit on an underage person, and he respected consent. It appeared the old dope bag never knew neither. After this, I was going to Brazil and not coming back until I forgot every single discussion. Every single one of them. Or until the Lord summoned me again. Harry, what have you thought up to defeat the dragon? Currently, my feet were propped up on the desk, with me leaning back in my chair. I was munching on a snack that a house elf gave me, enjoying the food appreciatively. I was thinking, and I want to use the parcel tongue, answered Harry, frowning unsurely. Dressed in a baggy blue shirt and overly large pants, he looked like a scruffy little orphan that thought saddened me. He was a scruffy little orphan, all because Dumbledore twisted everything so. I nodded and pretending that I knew this plan would succeed. I had no idea if it would, but he looked so sad that I pretend it would, even if I knew it wouldn't. Besides, if it got too dangerous, I'd create a distraction. Of course, that's a bloody brilliant idea. Harry smiled thinly. Thanks. If you'd like, you'll put a snake in the. I'll put a snake in the arena. That way, you don't have to struggle to begin to speak Parseltongue. Your instincts will take over, and you'll speak Parseltongue. I really hoped that was how Parseltongue worked, or else I might have just led Harry to his doom. Thanks, David. Harry hugged me gently. I hugged him back and smiling over his shoulder. No problem, kiddo. Run along, kiddo, before anyone knows you're gone. And some part of me knew I didn't stay only because the Dark Lord ordered me, but because I genuinely wanted to protect the innocent students that were unfortunate enough to have to live through whatever one would call this disaster. Okay, guys. I'll stop it here. Thank you guys for watching. Be happy, and I hope you like this one. Please let me know if you want me to do other fan fictions. I'm going to finish this one, don't worry. I finished the Ben Drowned one. I was kind of dissatisfied because it stopped so early. I did try to contact the person. They did not contact me back, but then again, it's been less than a day, so less than 24 hours. That's a day. I hope you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Put on push notifications, and let me know what you want to see next. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.